Hello, everybody, and welcome on in. It's NFL Week 2, and here at Prop Culture, I'm Thomas Viola. He's Derek Carty, and we are ready to be on our way for another fantastic week here. Derek, how are you doing, my friend? It's great to be back.
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm excited for this week. Last week, show plays did really well. I wound up about break even overall. But this week, the board looks good. I'm excited to get rolling.
Anything fun on Thursday night that popped for you?
Yeah, I was on the Bill Krosky Merritt unders, which was nice because everyone and their mom was on the overs. I was also on Jordan Love over 19.5 completions at plus money, and that was frustrating to not win because he was stuck at 19 forever. Yeah. He had like 3 drives at the end where he could get there, and he didn't. But yeah, it was a solid slate.
I was all set. I was really excited because it looked like Josh Jacobs was going to go under his rushing yard, and right at the end he went over for me, which was not fun. I had the under there, but hey, as Matt says, 3 buttons down today. Carty, let's rock and roll. Oh man, it was a tough call. I was trying to figure out like, what do I wear? What's Carty gonna wear? Yeah, we're rocking and rolling here, and I went and was betting some of these props last night, drove over to Arizona to bet them. Derek, I have a story for you and everybody on the show today because on my way there, I'm driving. It's a very bumpy highway getting from Nevada across the Hoover Dam to Arizona. And I hear something scrape and I'm like, that's not good. That's not good on my car. I get off, I go and I check it out. And like that skid plate under my car had fallen off. I guess when they changed my oil a couple weeks ago, like they didn't put it back in right. So I'm sitting there after I get done betting, trying to put it back in. And like, I get it. I get on the highway and immediately it completely falls off. All bad news. I'm on the side of the road calling Geico. They're like, yeah, tow's going to be like $200 because you're in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I had my gym bag with me and I had athletic tape in it. So I'm out here on the side of the highway, taping up the bottom of the skid plate to my bumper, managed to get all the way home on it. Very, very ready for all of those bets to hit. That I feel like I've endured enough of a crazy night that
it's really what it comes down to. So yeah, they're yours. Every bet you placed is going to win. So, and you said you had some from this show, so I'm happy about it.
Yeah, I always a great feeling when we're doing our pre-show, building the graphics, and I see, I'm already on a bunch of the bets that we have today. Also means that those lines won't move before I can get to them. Miami Vice, we really did end up with like the Miami Vice outfits today.
Yeah, we kind of did, huh?
Yeah,
we totally coordinated that. That's Miami Vice week on Prop Culture.
Absolutely. Also, shout out to Evan here. I know this is a football show, but the Mets future cashed last night. Hey, congratulations, guys. That's always big. And yeah, let's get into it. Before we do, really quick, Dennis asked, just curious if Derek will refrain from giving out BetMGM Bet365 versus special releases. They're off market from places that actually take bets. We will do our best to talk about numbers that are good until, like, we're going to give out the best price in the market because we want you to see and get the best price in the market if you can. We will do our best to also say, hey, if you can't get it at this, maybe like if it's -108 and you're getting -115, stuff like that, we'll do our best to talk more about that. And hopefully everyone can be happy with that as a happy medium there to help us out, because the reality is some of these sports books are just cowards and they move these lines really quickly on us. And there's not much that we can do about that, right there.
Yeah, we're very cognizant that there are people watching this show that are limited at certain books. Like that's just a reality of sports betting. But there's plenty of people who aren't. So we're always going to highlight what the best line is. But like Tom said, we will try to talk about, okay, if you can't bet here, I also like it, to this number as well. And we do have some FanDuel ones. I think we have some DK ones this week. We have a good mix of books, but yeah, that's just kind of the way we're going to approach it, because we can't cater to any specific person's books that they have available, because lots of people watching, and some people still have access to certain books.
Yeah, and some people,
especially if you're new to the show.
Yeah, well, you won't have access to a lot of books for long if you're just gonna straight hammer things. But Yeah, it is. It is kind of just the reality of how it is and the art of sports betting that comes into play with it. But we're going to do our best to bring you all of the best information that we can. And we have a lot of that for you today because, oh my word, Derek, I think we have 9, 10 plays, something like it might be more than that.
12. Yeah, we got a lot today.
Yeah, we have a lot to do. We have a lot to get to. And if we're going to get to all of it, we better start now because we've also got to answer audience questions as well. Let's get to work here. How about you? You get sharing your screen as I talk about this first prop that we have. We're going to be looking at Geno Smith, one of the most ethical hoopers in the game out here. I love the Geno Smith discourse that we have had this week. Raiders looked good last week playing the Patriots. Now they are headed back to Vegas, Monday Night Football against the Chargers. Where are we looking with Geno?
So we're looking at Geno's completions, and we are looking at the over. Most of the market you can see is 22.5. This 23.5 at plus 120 at Fanatics is the best line. If you can get it, if not, the 22.5s are still definitely good, especially, the minus 125 here at FanDuel, the minus 130s. You can see, it's showing value no matter what the line is. Geno is going into a dome this week where he's going to be the home quarterback, but it's the first time in his career where he's playing at home in a dome, basically. And we know how much the Blitz likes domes. We know how much the Blitz likes Geno. And I think Vegas is an underrated receiving core. So this one looks good. Blitz is projecting almost 26 completions for him. So no matter what line you're getting that's available at this moment, I can't speak for what's going to happen if you're watching this on replay a couple hours from now, but the ones that are available now all look good.
Yeah. Looking around the site on Odds Logic here. I'm seeing a couple things for us. We've got FanDuel's got 22.5 at minus 125. We got some minus 130s out there. I'm seeing a minus 104 at Bet Rivers too. So we've got a couple options here, a little bit where you're paying a little more juice there than we necessarily want to, but some options nonetheless. All right. Next up on the slate, we're going to keep with the pass completions market here for quarterbacks, and we're going to go to somebody who, quite frankly, shouldn't have won NFC Player of the Week last week, but JJ McCarthy. How are you dealing with? He's not really a rookie, but he also very much is only making his second start here. What are you looking at for JJ this week?
Yeah, I more or less am treating him as a rookie because we don't have any data on him, and he doesn't have any prior NFL experience. Mm-hmm. So I like McCarthy. I like the Minnesota offense in general. I like this game environment. It's another dome environment. It's above average in terms of pace. He's got great weapons to throw to. We saw at the end of last week, that this guy is talented. So I like McCarthy a lot. Best line is actually at FanDuel. We'll have people that are very happy about it. 18.5 minus 122 at FanDuel. Most of the market is 19.5. Most of those are fine, especially up to minus 130, minus 135. I'm definitely fine with. So yeah, McCarthy is our second pick here.
Mm-hmm. I think you're kind of hoping. I was listening to the deep dive last night. Andy Molitor and Drew Dinsick brought up a great point about if McCarthy comes out and looks really good in the first half, maybe you bet the Falcons second half. And if he comes out and he's struggling, apparently he only needs a half or 3/4 to settle down, and you bet the Vikings in the second half. A crazy turnaround for him last weekend in that fourth quarter. Hopefully he doesn't take that long to wake up this week.
Yeah, hopefully, because if we're doing a volume stat like completions, you kind of need to be on the whole game to really get there. Just picking up some deep shots in the second half is not going to do it for this one.
Yeah, we will see. But they also should realistically have to pass this ball more. I've got the Falcons rated a little bit higher than last year. I think this team, I don't want to call them great. I think they're going to be good enough where this game is going to force the Vikings to pass more.
Yeah, I kind of think so too.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to our third prop here. We are going to be going to running backs. And I got a couple questions for you on some of these, but this is not one of them because we got Tyrone Tracy for the Giants here. Where are you projecting his usage in a game where, let's face it, they're going to have to throw the ball a lot because Dallas looked good in week 1. Maybe a little bit of an overreaction, but they look good in week 1 against the Eagles.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at here. Tyrone Tracy under 14.5 at MGM -140 is the best line, but FanDuel's 8 points off. There's 13.5s that still project well also. We'll get into 14 if we can, but this is like you said, it's a spot where they're going to have to throw the ball. They're going to be in a dome, so they're going to have extra incentive to throw the ball. They're going to be playing from behind. This projects as one of the slower paced games of the week. This is Tracy's backfield for now, but there is always the chance that he fumbles the ball and he's back in the doghouse and we see Singletary and Scatterbo, out there taking carries in the second half. Like, there are multiple outs to this one. But 15 carries for a guy who's not like a true bell cow by any means. Like, he'll get the bulk of the work, assuming he doesn't like fumble and sleep with the coach's wife or something. But he will. What am I trying to say? Like, he's not going to get enough usage where we're going to consider him a 15 carry guy in a negative game script.
Yeah,
like he doesn't project that way in an average scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. And this isn't going to be, especially because you still have Russell Wilson throwing the football. They're not going to bench him just yet, and they're not going to make him lean on the run game in a game where they have to pass their way out of it,
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah. Yahtzee, what up, Yahtzee? Great to see you. Derek with the great analogies, the absolute bangers. I love it too. It is fantastic. It's down to -148 at FanDuel right now, Uncle Ted says. But I don't. Uncle Ted says Mike Didino saying -148 at FanDuel. Uncle Ted saying Dart could debut. I don't think we see Dart yet. I think that they're going to ride out
at least another week.
Yeah, and I don't think that they're going to put Dart in when
mid-game.
Yeah, he's not going to be a mid game switch in. They're going to wait a week, and then Dable's going to announce, because he's going to play that card to save his job of, oh, we have a new quarterback. We're going to turn it around. Don't fire me just yet.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on here to our next one up. This is one that I'm really curious for your thoughts on here, because we got to talk about Bayshul Tuten. Fantastic name. I love that name, Tuten. I love talking about it with Chris Ko. We're talking college props last year. I'm glad we're going to get to talk about him in the NFL here. Where do you think this usage is going to go for him, given the fact that they just traded away Tank Bigsby to go languish in Philadelphia in the backfield, where he's going to return kicks and do nothing else?
Yeah, so this is one that has a little bit more variability than I normally am comfortable with taking, but I kind of like it because I feel like there's been so much hype around Tuten, and I think that's maybe baked into this line a little bit too much. Bigsby's gone now, but they really talked about how much they like ETN, over the course of the last week or so. They like him. He's going to get the bulk of the work. And there's not even a guarantee that Tuten is going to be the number 2 here. They also drafted, LaQuint Allen this year. And last week, he actually got more snaps and I think more carries too than Tuten did. So there's a chance Tuten's the number 3 here, and he gets like 2 or 3 carries. He probably gets more than that on average, but that is like well within the realm of possibility here. They like all 3 of them. Tuten is not like a guaranteed number 2 here. And this is pretty much like a number 2 running backs line. Under 23.5, -109 at DK looks like is that our best number? Yeah, that's our best number. FanDuel moved a little bit. But the FanDuel one looks good too. And yeah, so that's kind of the angle here, is that like, I'm not sold that Tuten is definitely the number 2 running back here.
I mean, I'm in complete agreement with you for even if it's purely out of the fact that I know LaQuint Allen is a great running back because I got to watch him in college. Shout out to Syracuse. I disagree with the people saying that he's going to take he's going to lose this job to Bayshul Tuten here. Like, completely agree. Doesn't make sense. And I think Allen is going to continue to see more of those snaps. DK just dropped to 21.5. Just dropped DK to 21.5. That's nice. I'm finding some 18.5s out there. That's all I'm stuck with.
Yeah. Even the 18.5s, I think, are fine. The blitz is projecting about 7 yards below that. So yeah, the 18.5s at like -110, -115, they -120. They still project well.
Tuten off the board at 365. Rush yards 17.5 at even money is available. We still okay getting down to 17.5 even. You got 22.5 at FanDuel right now.
We're on the rushing yards market right now. I know we normally do carries, but this is rushing yards for Tuten. And yeah, I'm fine with that number.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That did I say carries? I meant yards.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the next one here. We got Calvin Ridley. We're gonna head into the receptions market here. Ridley had some drops last week. That was pretty rough. Where are you looking for him this week?
We are looking at the under on Calvin Ridley. Under 4.5, -105 is our best line here, but the -110 still looks fine. Caesars is -115 and FanDuel -120 are okay. These are, it's not like we're picking out plays necessarily that are like, 50 yards off or 50 points off market. Like you can take 15 points off at FanDuel and you're still getting a 4-star play here. Like it's still a good play. Just for the people who do have those limits. And Ridley apparently is going to be very popular in DFS this week. I just learned like 10 minutes ago. I guess people are high on him. He had like a pretty good target share last week, but I don't think this is a good offense at all. Like, yeah, they have the number 1 pick as the quarterback, but first-round rookie quarterbacks are usually not very good. They're usually among the worst quarterbacks in the league the first year. And Ward didn't really do anything last week to convince me that he's not going to be that, at least the first few weeks of the season. We had the possibility that they were going to go more pass heavy because Brian Callahan, used to be the offensive coordinator for Cincinnati that's so pass heavy. And then they tried to pass last year and then they stopped because Will Levis was terrible. They came out and they were run heavy last week. So, I don't know. Ridley's getting older. He has those drops. The blitz has him as like half a reception under this, more than half a reception under it. So I'm on the under here for Ridley.
I mean, Ward played a great Denver defense last week, as Uncle Ted points out, and I can't think of many places worse to start your professional career than being a rookie going on the road in Denver against that defense. That being said, like, yes, you're playing not as good of a defense this week, but you're still playing a pretty good Rams defense here, and that pass rush is going to be able to make Ward uncomfortable. I'm inclined to try and find some buy low spots on the Titans as we get into the season and Ward starts to calm down and get used to the speed of the NFL game. But even at home here, you're right. They're going to lean run heavy in this game, and Cam Ward, they weren't really interested in throwing the ball much at all. I don't know if Calvin Ridley is going to be able to get the targets to get here.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. And if he does, I do think he's going to have to be pretty darn efficient.
Yeah. And he wasn't efficient last week either. So really all comes down to that. Wait, real quick, what do you think of Ted McMillan too?
In general, or his props, or?
Never mind. Ted McMillan's on the Panthers. I'm an idiot.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, he's in the blue uniform. It's the Titans blue, right? Never mind. Disregard that. Let's move on here and let's talk about Kyren Williams. So we're going to be sticking in this game here, but going to the other side. Where are we looking at with the Rams backfield here and Kyren in particular? Because this is a bet we were on a bunch last year.
Yes, it was. We are looking at Kyren Williams under 1.5 receptions plus 140 at FanDuel is going to be our best line here. We'd had a plus 150 before the show. They've moved a little bit. I still think the 140 is fine. You can see as you get lower, moving down into like 3-star, 2-star territory. So I wouldn't take this one down as far as I would some of the other ones. But if you can get the 140 or even the 135, I think you're fine. Kyren Williams, even though the Rams love Kyren Williams, like his efficiency as a receiver is really bad. Like the blitz just thinks he is a bad receiving running back. And this is the first year that the Rams and plus 144 at DK. All right, that's nice.
You got some plus 130s on the under as well.
Yeah. So this is the first year that the Rams haven't said Kyren's our guy. We're going to use him. There's nobody else that we love more than Kyren Williams. Ain't nobody going to keep him down. But this season, McVay has kind of said, and the GM has said, and the offensive coordinator have said, hat tips, coach speak index for this, but basically they've said that they want to give Kyren more breathers. They want to work Blake Corum into the mix more. And if there's a spot to do it, I mean, passing downs, because Kyren Williams is terrible. I want to look last week. I think he ran fewer routes last week than he had in previous years.
I know he finished with just one reception.
Yeah, last year he ran about 63% of the routes on dropbacks. Last week was 53%, so has dropped a little bit. And so yeah, we're looking at the under here.
Yep. All right, and hey, we're going to be betting a lot of unders this season. As everybody on the show knows, it's a lot easier to bet on things not to happen than to bet on things to happen. And speaking of that, let's talk about things happening to the Patriots offense here, specifically Demario Douglas. Lit the world on fire last week with one of the wildest stat lines you may ever see. I believe it was something like 2 catches for -2 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. Demario Douglas, is our first over today. We're looking at the over 3.5 plus 145 at Fanatics is our best line. You can see there's a lot of 2.5s out there that are like heavily juiced. I think I'm avoiding them, but any of the 3.5s, which you can find at exchanges, you can find at DraftKings. FanDuel has a 120. I think they're all fine. Douglas, I think, is going to be a big part of this offense this year. They really like him. And with the injury that Stephon Diggs had, the medical guys that, that I've been reading kind of think he's going to be still ramping up off to a little bit of a slow start. We saw Kayshon Boutte be kind of the guy that like exploded last week, but Douglas ran the second most routes on the team aside from Boutte, and he's been a focal point of this offense at times in the past. And the thing that really interests me here is that the Patriots were super pass heavy last week. They were the third most pass heavy offense when you adjust for context in all of football, which I thought was really interesting. It's the second year quarterback, the new offensive coordinator going pass heavy. There were some quotes this week. Again, Coach Speak Index had them about wanting to run the ball more this week, which scares me a little bit, but I still think this one looks solid.
And you also factor in there last week, the Raiders defense, I don't want to call them a top 5. I certainly am not calling them a top 5 unit, but I'd call them a top half unit. I don't think the Raiders defense is bad. And now you get to play a Miami defense that I'm pretty sure they're going to be trotting Storm Duck out there. Like, this is not a professional defense Miami has at this point. And not to mention the fact that they're having players only meetings in week 2. This could be ugly.
Yeah, it really could be. Tyler Jackson saying that Bet365 has an alternate receptions line of plus 175, which I absolutely love.
Storm isn't even playing. He's hurt too, man. Oh, Russian 5 as a Dolphins fan. I know that it's okay, man. I'm a Jets fan. Life is constant pain. We know. But this defense, like who is starting on this defense? They're about to bring us in at cornerback. Even if you have a lead, you're still going to pass the ball just because it's going to be easy.
Yeah. It's a good spot, and Drake May looks pretty good. Rookie quarterbacks tend to take the biggest leap kind of that second year. Like I said, first year rookie quarterbacks are usually among the worst in the league, and second year rookie quarterbacks are usually like a little above average. So it's a good spot here, I think, for Douglas.
Yeah. Definitely think that he can come out and also the fact that he got -2 yards on 2 catches shows that they're trying to design plays to get him the ball. He got blown up on a screen pass and he also still scored a touchdown. Like he's a guy that they very clearly want to get involved and want to scheme involved.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. Cheeseburger Eddie pointing out, imagine being a Browns fan. Hey, looks like Deshaun Watson's almost ready to come back off IR and solve all your problems, and certainly not add any new problems to that quarterback mess. Man. Nick Porterson, I don't know. May in the second half looked pretty bad. Had 2 passes that should have been picked. Again, the Raiders defense, like, they were forced to pass the ball more in the second half of that game. And the flip side of it is also the Raiders defense is a lot better. I'm not too high on May, but I feel pretty good about this spot here, especially for getting over the 3.5 with Douglas in a game where they should be able to pass the ball fairly well.
Especially at the plus money, especially if you got that 175. Oh my goodness, that's crazy value.
Mm-hmm. Now let's talk about a running back here for the Steelers. We're going to be going to Jaylen Warren here. And this Steelers running back room, I feel like sooner rather than later is going to be introducing a lot more Caleb Johnson into the mix. What do you think? What are you going with Jaylen Warren here?
So I actually don't think we're going to see a whole lot of Caleb Johnson right away. Like, I don't get the impression the Steelers are impressed with him at all. Like, I think he needs to really step up and kind of shine during practice, and for these coaches to really think about making him any sort of integral part of the offense. Mm-hmm. But the thing that I thought was interesting was last week, Jaylen Warren played like even though he was the lead back last week, like, he played like a completely different role almost than he played last year. Last year, he was getting a bunch of routes, a bunch of targets. Last week, he only ran a route on 25% of the dropbacks, while Kenneth Gainwell ran a route on almost half of them. It was almost like Jaylen Warren was playing the Najee Harris role, and Kenneth Gainwell was playing last year's Jaylen Warren role. And if that's the case, then this line is kind of set as if he's, the Jaylen Warren of last year. So that's kind of the angle here. We're looking at the under 1.5 at plus 150. It's another one where the lines are depending on the book. There's 2.5s that are super juiced that I would not take.
Wait, I don't think yardage or receptions?
You are right. We're doing yardage. I don't know why I'm on receptions.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I was like, oh wait, no, we're talking about yardage here for him. He's at 14. Okay. He's at 14.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, under 15.5, minus 115 at Caesars looks like it's our best line, but the 14.5s are widely available around the same number. Apologies for that. The receptions is fine. The receiving yards projects better. All the same stuff applies though. Like, he's not necessarily, it's 1 week. We don't want to overreact. We don't know for sure what his role is going to be. But last week it looked like that's what it was. And we know that they like Kenneth Gainwell. We know that they like his ability in the passing game a lot. And so I kind of think that's what we're looking at right now. And if Caleb Johnson does decide to impress in practice this week and nudges his way in, all the better. Not convinced that's going to happen, but I like Warren here because he's projected, for a different role, I think, than what he actually has.
And Pinnacle just moved it to under the under to minus 138 here, but you still got FanDuel at minus 114, BetMGM at minus 110. You got minus 120s out there as well. But yeah, here we go. Mark saying, sorry, I got turned around there. All good. We did too. Under 14.5 at even money. We got minus 108 at our best odds right now, I believe.
If you have 14.5 at even money, that's probably the best line on the board.
Yeah.
I like that better than the 15.5 minus 115. So if you have that, then that is a good number.
Mm-hmm. Apparently even money on 365. We'll see how long that stays here. We will have to see. Plus Aaron Rodgers, like, if he doesn't trust you in the passing game, he's not throwing you the football.
It's the truth.
All right. We've got a whole bevy of interception props to run through with you. That's like that concludes like our main slate that we have here, but we've got a whole bunch of interceptions. Let's talk about handicapping those interceptions for a second here, because this really is one of those markets where you're getting close to coin flip odds on most of them. And Derek, where are you looking to find value in these?
Really, I'm letting I think I said it last week too. I'm letting the projection system kind of do the heavy lifting for me here with the interceptions. It's going to know the game environment. It's going to know the player's talent level. And it's just going to be about okay, are they giving us good enough odds compared to what the chances of this happening are? There's not like a whole lot of serious handicapping that's going into whether the guy is going to throw an interception or not. It's really just about probability. It's about the lines. And so we're looking at, like you said, a bunch of plays that are kind of coin flip plays or even better. I think most of the ones today are more like 60% plays that we're getting at closer to even money than plus money. But 60% plays at even money is good. So you play a bunch of these over the course of the year. They've been very profitable historically. I love this market. It's a sweat. You're hoping the whole game, any errant throw could be the end of it. But yeah, this is a good market.
Yeah, and it's one of those where you're going to play a lot of these over the course of the season. You might have a week where you go 0-4, but you're going to have a whole bunch of weeks where you're able to hit on a lot of them. And over the course of the season, when you flip that coin 100 times and you're getting 60% odds on a 50% play, you're going to come out ahead in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's get to it here. Let's start off. We are going to be going with the great extender himself, Michael Penix.
Yes, we are. So let me get over to. So we're looking at Michael Penix under half an interception, plus 118 at DK is your best line, but you are fine anywhere on the board.
Yeah, you've got a lot of options when it comes to this one. Looking at the odds logic screen here, this is a game where you're pretty. What price would you say you're starting to shy away from here?
This is one where it projects as a 62% winner. So again, down to even money, you are definitely fine. These minus 105 here at the very bottom of the market still projects as a 5-star play. Like you can take this to minus 110 if you want to, minus 115 probably, and still be plenty fine.
Pinnacle just moved it to minus 130, but you still got some plus 114s out there, some plus 110s, couple options. And as Park McCauley points out, Van Ginkel just got ruled out for Sunday too, so no screen INTs. I love that this man is just known for doing one thing really, really well.
Yeah.
Like that is that is just a crazy amusing like single thing to be good at as a linebacker. But he is quite fantastic at it. All right. Another one here. We're going to look at Bryce Young, man. We're going to be looking at a lot of scary quarterbacks for these, aren't we?
Yes, we are. And that's kind of the nature of sharp sports betting, is that the uglier a play is, a lot of times the better the value is. And so we're looking at Bryce Young as well. Bryce Young under half an interception, plus 104 at Rivers is your best line, but you can take it down to minus 115 and you're still looking at a 5-star play at EVAnalytics. So really anywhere on the board that you can get, they're all within a few points for the most part. Again, not a lot of analysis here. So we're just going to kind of bang through these, but it's another one that's like a 60% winner that we're getting around even money, and that's good value. And that's really all sports betting comes down to, in the end.
Yep. All right. Next one that we have up here, we've got Michael Penix, we've got Bryce Young. Now let's talk about T-Law, Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence, same deal, under half an interception, plus 110 at a few books is our best line, but you can take it down all the way to minus 111 at Profit X on the exchange. And it's still showing really good value. Another one that's about a 60% winner. So you can take it down there and it's still good. And then our last one is going to be our man JJ McCarthy, who we hit at the top of the show. The completions over. We're taking the interceptions under here. Plus 115 is our best line, but another one where you can take it down to even money and you're still looking good.
Indeed. All right. That is going to do it for us as far as what we've got for our plays. I'm going to go through and recap everything for you guys. But in the meantime, drop your prop questions in the chat, please. Let's hear from you guys and answer some of your burning questions about the props you have your eye on this week. But first, recapping everything for you here. Of course, we've got Geno Smith over 23.5 completions at plus 120. Best odds there were at Fanatics. JJ McCarthy over 18.5 completions, minus 122. The best odds over at FanDuel. Tyrone Tracy Jr. under 14.5 carries, -140, laying a little bit of juice there at BetMGM. Bayshul Tuten. We are not rooting for Tuten this week. We are under 20.5 rushing yards at -114. Best odds there at FanDuel. Calvin Ridley under 4.5 receptions, -103 at the DraftKings. And Kyren Williams under 1.5 receptions, +150. Best odds at ESPN Bet. Taking a breather here because we have a whole nother page to go through. Demario Douglas over 3.5 receptions, +145. Best odds there at Fanatics. Michael Penix Jr. under 0.5 interceptions, +118. Best odds at DraftKings. That whole bouquet of interception props. We have Bryce Young unders, Trevor Lawrence under, JJ McCarthy under to complete that 4-pack there for you, +102, +105, and +115 respectively. And ending it all here, we got Jaylen Warren under 14.5 receiving yards, -108 also at the DK. Woo! Derek, I need to take a breather after that one there. We had so much on the board today, and not too much on the board week one, but there was a lot more time that those props are up on the board.
Yeah, they'd been up for a long time.
So at that point, we're getting to Friday of game week one. A lot of stuff is just hammered by that point, right?
A lot of it has been.
Mm-hmm.
Props do tend to come out in waves where the guys, the big star guys without any sort of question marks or injury concerns on their teams, they'll come out early in the week. Throughout the week, guys, once we get more certainty on injury situations, other guys will come out. We'll start to get, the third wide receiver, the fifth wide receiver comes Sunday. So I do like checking in throughout the week. I think Friday's a decent sweet spot where we get some new stuff today, but there is still plenty of leftover stuff that's been picked through already a little bit from earlier in the week.
Mm-hmm. Boglor, he bets things on Tuesday as soon as some of the lines open up. Obviously, different props open at different times. Some of the more common ones open first, and some more of them are opening now. But he has a philosophical question for us about the stars and the blitz yards numbers. Bijan and Jameer have been up all week as 5-star plays. Do you avoid these in general? What are you looking at? How much are you factoring in the potential of market resistance when it comes to some of these?
A little bit, but really not that much, because I don't think prop markets are very efficient, especially in the NFL. There's so much square money going into these that I really don't think they're being shaped super efficiently, especially when we're talking about star players where we know the general public, the public doesn't want to bet a Jahmyr Gibbs under or a Bijan Robinson under. They don't want to do that. And so there's going to be some market resistance when the projection shows the under. That doesn't mean I'm not going to take it. I actually took both of these early in the week. They were a couple of the first ones I took. I gave them out elsewhere at Scores and Odds, so didn't make the cut today. But yeah, if you want to bet either of these, we can pull them up. I think I bet the attempts rather than the yards, but I know the yards are showing value too. So let's take a look real quick. Jahmyr Gibbs's yards was something that's receiving yards, rushing yards. Oh, wow. It's come down. He was 73.5 earlier this week, I think, is where he opened, if I recall. So not even that much market resistance. He has been going down, and we're still getting plenty of value on Gibbs unders here. This is a spot where Detroit projects as a pretty big favorite at home in the Dome. So maybe a little bit more passing because they're at home in the Dome. But also, we've seen last year that in games where Detroit's playing from ahead, we see a much heavier dose of David Montgomery than we do in games that they're neutral or playing from behind. And the opposite's true for Gibbs. We see less of Gibbs in game scripts like this. So even though they will be running the ball towards the end, most likely to run out the clock, I think it's more likely we'll see some Montgomery at that point, or that we will see, if it's a real blowout, we'll see, Craig Reynolds or Vaki or whoever's active as the third running back. So I like the Gibbs under this week. I like the attempts more. Same with Bijan. I bet his attempts under last week and it hit. I like it again this week. They talked a little bit about getting Tyler Algier more involved this year, and we definitely saw it last week.
Yeah.
Last week we saw Montgomery out carry Gibbs, I believe. So it's as much as people love these young, exciting backs, kind of matters what the coaches think. If they're going to use these other guys to eat into their work, well, that matters, and we need to account for that.
Exactly. And is there anything more maddening in the NFL than running back usage? I know we've got a few fantasy questions in the chat here. It's something that just every week you're like, why don't they just use the better running back? It's the worst.
Yeah. I mean, people were doing it last night. They were upset that Eckler was getting work over Krosky Merritt, and the blitz was all over the Krosky Merritt unders because, like, there's just uncertainty with some of these things. As much as you want that young, exciting guy to just get all the work, it doesn't really happen that way a lot of times.
And we'll see what's going to happen now with Eckler out with the Achilles tear.
Yeah, we're going to see some Chris Rodriguez now instead of no, Merritt's role will go up, but I do think that we'll probably see I'm blanking on his name, the other guy, not Rodriguez, Jeremy McNichols. McNichols fill in a decent amount of that Eckler role, I think.
Yeah. All right. Matt Budzinski here says, do the under INTs get better odds throughout the week for these question mark QBs? Got to think squares are hammering those INT overs.
You would think that you might, but generally speaking, I would say no. You either get worse odds or the odds stay around the same. Mostly, I would imagine, because I don't think a lot of squares are betting the interceptions market in general. That's just my guess about it.
Yeah, it's not going to be the most bet market, although I do feel like you could definitely see some square money on some of these guys betting on the bad quarterbacks going, oh, well, it's free money because, of course, they're going to throw an interception. But public money doesn't really move lines that much, even in less liquid, more volatile markets like props like this.
Yeah, that answers the question.
Mm-hmm. Ethan Alpern asked thoughts on Walker versus Charbonnet this week.
Man, I did not see that coming last week. I thought Walker was the guy, and he is not the guy. So
he's going to get traded to Washington. Like, I firmly believe this.
He might. That would actually be really cool. I would love that if I was a Walker owner. In fantasy.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, they're both kind of in like no man's land right now, where neither's really going to get enough work to like really be truly valuable. But neither is bad, and both is elite if the other one goes away. So, yeah,
very difficult there. There were a couple other more fantasy related questions in the chat, but we can talk about them for a bit. Yeah, guys, drop any props that you want to talk about in here, because we are here to talk about them for the next 15 minutes or so here. As long as you guys have questions coming in, we'll keep answering them. Reed wants to know about Dak or JJ this week in fantasy. Let's talk about just, I guess, their passing. I mean, shooting from the hip, you got to go Dak. Like the Cowboys are not interested in running the football.
Which that's what everyone says, but we didn't see that last week. Like they were not especially pass heavy last week. As much as that's almost one of those other things that I was just talking about, where I think it's like a wish casting thing where people want Dallas to be super pass heavy. Sorry, my throat's giving out.
All good,
but man. We haven't seen a lot of quotes that they're going to do that. We haven't seen a lot of evidence last week that they're going to do that. I think the blitz actually likes McCarthy more.
Wow. All right, that's a bit of a shocker, but there you go. Maybe do be checking out checking out McCarthy this week. Plus, negative game script for him versus what's probably going to be a positive game script for Dak.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, important things to think of there, and that's why we talk about this stuff. I mean, there you go. That's a narrative that I was mistaken on there. Ethan. Interesting thoughts here. Ethan, has any other leverage plays with ambiguous backfields? We've talked about a few of them now. We talked about Seattle. We talked about Washington. We talked about Jacksonville. Where are some other spots where we're kind of looking at that this week? I feel like we've gone the other way with the Jets with Breece Hall and Braylon Allen.
Yeah, like we got some clarity last week on a few backfields like the Jets. Houston, Nick Chubb looks like the guy there. There's more ambiguity in Atlanta and Detroit than people want to acknowledge. I'll tell you that much. Denver's one where I think we have a lot of ambiguity still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a play that I ended up making this week was what's his name? It's not J.K. Dobbins. It's
Harvey. The Harvey.
Yeah,
under.
RJ Harvey. I took his under.
Yeah, I know that's been showing up as having some value.
Yeah.
I don't have a great read on the situation, so I haven't taken it myself yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those where I'm like, we could be wrong, but we could be right. We'll see. Yeah. Russian 05 wants to know James Conner over 12.5 receiving yards versus Carolina this week. Well, interesting spot.
Pull it up and see. Yeah, let's pull it up and see. Conner got less work last week than I was expecting. They used Benson more, but he wasn't there for. Yeah, he wasn't there for most of the pass game work. It looks like the blitz is more or less in line with it. A little bit of value on the over, not enough where I'd probably bet it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is just one of them. Always a little bit tough, especially in these games where you're like, how much are they going to be passing the ball? How much are they going to be passing to that specific running back? Russian points out he had 4 catches. He had the targets, but only 5 yards last week.
Yeah, he is still being used in that pass game role.
Yeah. All right. Cheeseburger Eddie says, is Montgomery receiving yards the new Pirine gold mine? That is a great question, Eddie. What do you think? What do you think? Could we be lurking on something here with David Montgomery?
I mean, he's way more involved in the pass game than I think most people realize. But it does look like the market is realizing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it can definitely be a little bit tough. We're gonna weep for the days of that Samaje Perine play. That was absolutely fantastic. But for now, Derek, I think that is going to do it for us here. Looks like chat's winding down a little bit. I'll vamp for a minute or two so you can speak now or forever hold your peace on any more plays. But I know that you're feeling a little bit under the weather already 2 weeks into the season.
I know.
Not great, man. Not great. You got to get those vocal cord exercises going. Get some do re mi's in there in your
Seriously.
time. All right. Well, thank you so much to everybody for being here. As always, we'll be back same time, same place next week. We love talking with all of you. Thank you so much for putting your plays in the chat. Derek, thank you so much for being here with me as always. And we got Ethan Craig for one more question for us. Thoughts on Josh Allen TD at even money that may be gone everywhere. They got it earlier in the week, seeing -120 as the best right now. So maybe that's maybe that's gone. I don't really like a -120 even on a super human like Josh Allen.
Yeah. Are we talking anytime touchdowns, I assume, too, where it's like he has to rush for it? I don't think I like it at those odds.
Yeah, you can't. I can't in good faith ever lay I can't lay a minus price on a guy to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
No matter how Saquon Barkley they are.
Yeah, not for me.
Mm-hmm. Even money, still not quite good enough for me there. I have a guy who did give me a couple first touchdown scorer plays that both hit for the Bears game and then the game last night. Did I bet either of them? No, I did not. That was painful. But that is going to do it for now for us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for being here. Seth, Ethan, great to see you all. Bogler, Eddie, Russian, everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for being with us. Like I said, we'll be back here same time, same place next week. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way out. And be sure to subscribe to the channel and be ready to see all the other great content that so many people here at Wager Talk have for y'all. And we'll be back with you in week 3. But in the meantime, let's cash some tickets, everybody. We'll see you next time.